Hill. Shows how much you know. Cap Hill doesn't have that kind of gay guy in it. Cap Hill is full of queers, not gays. You're thinking of West Hollywood. I live in the Midwest. I truly do not know. Well, it's okay. As a resident of the Midwest, you know more about goth girls wearing oversized plaid flannels than any of us. Everyone knows out there in the Midwest, every town has like, 99% the, boomer redneck Midwesterners and 1% gorgeous goth women in clothes that look like they were picked out from a 2000s wardrobe. It's crazy. Like, it's actually a very reliable, and they only fuck the nastiest guys. That's the stereotype, right? It's like gorgeous goth women who do the makeup for an hour before going out, and they find some like construction worker making 23 an hour. I either like a guy who's 100 pounds soaking wet, or just the biggest man alive, and they get it nasty style every night. As someone who also lives in the Midwest, you're not even wrong. It's hardly a stereotype. I've seen the tractor goths. It's a real. Those uggos do love femdoms. First of all, we would never call the men I described uggos, okay? Only nasty. And second, this is a classic mistake. Despite what the internet might have led you to believe, goth girls are not, by and large, sexually dominant. Not even fucking close, okay? The sexually dominant girls, you would never be able to read it from a distance because there's no relationship whatsoever between their behavior in colloquial, like normal platonic situations and their sexual proclivities. Whereas the goth girls, for the most part, are screaming the opposite at you, you know? This is no hate. This is being spoken without judgment, okay? But you will never know if a woman is sexually dominant until she specifically says so. You will never, ever, ever know. Listen, I feel bad for the submissive guys out there. You're out there like, ooh, this really confident, bossy woman must also be sexually dominant in the bedroom. Buddy, you have no idea. You are in for a world of disappointment. You have no fucking idea what it's like out there. I'm sorry, you just can't read this one. You cannot read this one easily. Does it apply to men as well? Yeah, for the most part. Again, all of this is in heterosexual coupling. So queer people won't shut the fuck up about what they like to do in the bedroom. But for the most part, yeah. When you're talking about straight guys, you will never you will never know if they're sexually submissive unless they specifically say so. Can you translate this in the switch, please? No, because we're talking about straight people, and straight people aren't switches. That's not a term that they use, okay? They could be, but it's not a term they use, all right? It's like you can't call a straight, like a big, hairy, straight guy, a bear. It's a misappropriation of terminology. He's only a bear if he's out there at the gay club, right? That's a context thing. Me calling every straight woman with short hair butch instead of tomgirl. You need to understand the lingo. That coffee was a lot hotter than I thought it was going to be. I'm really glad I didn't spill any on my shirt. So straight men can't be twinks? No. By the way, twink doesn't mean anything. Neither does tomboy, to be fair. Tomboy literally just means... Dude, tomboy pisses me off so fucking much. Guys, look at my tomboy art. And it's a stacked broad with like Triple H tits with short hair. Shut the fuck up, okay? You're so normative. I hate you. It's like this art that I saw the other day. Hold on, we're on a thing now, okay? There's this fat fetish manga, which, whatever, I don't fucking care. But they're not even doing the fat fetish thing properly. Look at this. It's ridiculous. I can't stand this stuff. Okay? Look at this. Wow, here's a hot girl with cleavage, eating food. Yum yum, I love yummy food. Yum yum yum. What happens when you eat yummy food? Blarp. Except, hold on. I've been with fat bitches. This is not how fat bitches look. Why are her arms skinny? Why is her face skinny? Why is her neck skinny? Why aren't her hips and legs? You just drew a big tummy and tits. You have to know what the fuck you're doing. I thought tomboy referred more to boy-coded behavior than to body type. It does! We need to see more tomboy art, and the person who's being drawn is legitimately androgynous. In the author's defense, they've probably never seen a fat woman. Well, presumably this was drawn by a Japanese, so yeah. You know that's grammatically correct? Saying a Japanese or a Chinese is the same as saying an American. It's both an adjective and a noun. You're not used to saying it. You can say a French or a Spanish. All of that, it's all the same amount of grammatically correct, you know? It is consistent. Why would that be weird? I think it's old-fashioned. A lot of people don't speak that way anymore, you know? A Swede, yeah, a Swede. Sometimes we do it. A Russian, you know? An Italian. People say Japanese person, sure, and you can say an Italian person if you want to, but you could say an Italian. What would the term be if you didn't use a Japanese? A Japanese person. I don't think there's some nationalities or some groups have another word you can use. Like Spaniard, as somebody just pointed out, you can say a Spaniard instead of a Spanish or whatever. But I don't think there's one for, say, a Portuguese or whatever. With an American, it sounds more natural, but I don't think there's another one. There's no like other word for an American that you could use as a noun. Or like, yeah, like a Dutchman or Frenchman. But then do you say French woman? What about a non-binary person, you know? Arabic doesn't work, but Arabic is natural. Well, what about just an Arab? Because that sounds fine, you know? A Saudi Arabian. You don't need, no one would say a Saudi Arabian person. You would just say a Saudi Arabian, a Canadian. It really is just like random, I think. I don't know if there's like a taxonomy to it or whatever. I think sometimes they say Saudi. Yeah, you can say Saudi, sure. Arabic is the language. Well, sure, Arab's an ethnic group, yeah. A very large one. Some of them just sound politically incorrect. Yeah, it's kind of like how saying the whites sounds kind of fine, but saying the blacks usually doesn't. I say both. I think it's just a consistency thing, you know? You can usually tell when a person's using it to, like, dog whistle or whatever. Or the Jews. Yeah, well, that's a great example, right? Like, you can say he's Christian or he's a Christian. You can say he's Jewish or you can say he's a Jew. But sometimes people feel weird about saying a Jew rather than Jewish, like Jewish, of course, being the adjective form and a Jew being the noun. Both work, right? If you're speaking about, I mean, assuming the person we're talking about is Christian or Jewish, you might just be incorrect on the facts of the matter, but you know, using Jew as an adjective is also bad. Yes, see, because that is weird. Jewish is the adjective. If you said Jew as an adjective, that to me instantly reads as anti-Semitic, you know? Unless you're a Jewish comedian and you're doing like a funny bit. Yeah, if you're Adam Friedland, you could probably make something funny with it. I don't know. It's just, listen, okay, there's no hard rules about how language is supposed to function. At the end of the day, it's really just what we decide the meanings are, you know? The N-word isn't bad because of magic. It's bad because of its associative meaning, you know? We created those meanings and we assigned to them, so. She just looks pregnant. She does look more pregnant to me than she does fat. Good turnaround. Thank you. Pregnant with a liquid baby. Maybe she just has to pee real bad. Grouping general cultural affiliation applies to monolithic sentiments in a way to be bad faith. All right, that was a lot of fancy pants $5 words, baby. Weren't you supposed to go off and do something? Is this my punishment for plans getting changed? You're waving your $5 words at me? Using a noun instead of an adjective tends to obliterate the individual. Again, it's literally just what we're comfortable with. Because an American is using it as a noun, right? That's not an adjective, because the adjective would have to be followed by a noun. You could say an American person, and that's only because the adjective American and the noun American, it's the same word. But when you say an American, you're using a noun, you know? But yeah, it's like the difference between saying an autist versus an autistic person or a person with autism. But a person with autism is also a noun, right? You're saying like it's people first language, but you're still using the noun form of autism. Autist is the please take this awful image off the screen. Okay, sorry. NL was so right when he said that a problematic bit is fine because he's doing it without hate in his heart. That's real. That's genuinely real. And I actually think one of the reasons there was so much whiplash against Woke 1 was because people forgot that. People got so hot on attacking anyone over perceived slights, they forgot that when you have love in your heart, it's okay to get a bit silly with it. I'm being real. I'm not making a joke.